Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today is the 19th of April 2023. It's the date where update 1.20.1 was scheduled for release. We know this as Onslaught's Season of the Griffin was meant to come out today on the European server. However, there's no patch today, no Onslaught today, and no news from Wargaming until now about the future of update 1.20.1. Now, unless you've been hiding under a rock, you'll know that update 1.20.1 is arguably the worst update, at least with regards to the balance of the game, that's come out pretty much since Rubicon, which was, gosh, about 8 years ago. And to say that there were a lot of problems that I had with update 1.20.1 was an understatement. Wargaming reacted by releasing a briefing on the last day of March, which I felt ended up doing more harm than good, in an article that, at least in my opinion, felt like it was contradicting itself throughout, which resulted in me releasing a video which was just simply titled Wargaming Didn't Listen. That's how I felt at the time. And I'm happy to share with you that at least I was wrong. Wargaming have, in fact, listened, and as of now, which will be 2 o'clock UK time as I'm preparing this video in advance. And just to clarify, unlike everyone was saying in my last YouTube video, no, I am not leaking this, and it's a do not share date before the embargo, which hopefully will be the time that this video is released. And today, I get to talk through why Wargaming are cancelling several of the changes from the 1.20.1 update. So what exactly are Wargaming removing from the 1.20.1 update? Let's find out. Let's talk about it. Commanders, we would like to thank all of those of you who participated in the common tests of the update, as your involvement has been instrumental in shaping the game's future. Conducting public testing of updates before introducing them to live game is a crucial step in this process, allowing us to collect reactions and gather feedback to create a better game for everyone. Now, I want to clarify at this moment that it's actually very unusual for Wargaming for a common test server to make significant changes from it, as usually about 90 to 95% of the content that actually reaches the common test goes through unchanged. So this is actually a pretty much an unprecedented moment for Wargaming, as at least since Rubicon, which as I said was 8 years ago, the only significant changes or cancelled upcoming updates would have been from a sandbox test server. Although update 1.20.1 has introduced many new features and improvements, we have faced some challenges with two specific aspects of the update. WoT Plus will require some minor adjustments, while the crew system will undergo more extensive changes. We are committed to addressing the issues raised by the community and ensuring that these features meet our high standards. Let's dive into how we plan to accomplish this. So firstly, changes to WoT Plus. Free demounting of improved equipment, i.e. the equipment type purchasable with bonds, was perceived as a bonus that would give subscribers an advantage. Our intention with WoT Plus is to provide subscribers comfort and convenience, not an upper hand in battles. Therefore, improved equipment will be excluded from the equipment list that can be demounted for free with a WoT Plus subscription. Well, firstly, Wargaming, massive thumbs up to you for this change. This will have huge ramifications for what was possibly going to happen. And that was, of course, if you made it so that people who paid you $9 a month could be able to demount bond equipment, then they would be able to use it on like their tier 2 tanks, their tier 3 tanks, their tier 4 tanks. It would be, everybody would have just demounted all of their regular equipment, got a modification to demount bond equipment and put it on all of those vehicles, and they'd be playing with ridiculous advantages compared to everyone else. It also would mean that everyone who spent their bonds on bond equipment would feel pretty shafted. I have probably about 20 improved ventilations across my accounts. That's 100,000 bonds that I've spent. And if I can demount them for free and with no ability to sell them to be able to get my bonds back, yeah, that would be pretty rough. Also, this would mean that people who paid $9 a month would be able to hoard bonds and not have to spend them on equipment and be able to use them to inflate all of the prices on auctions or purchasing any kind of bond items in the future, which would mean that there was this huge disparity between the player base. WoT Plus paying customers who probably would have tens if not hundreds of thousands of bonds, and the regular customers who feel like they have to spend them on equipment and to just remain competitive as they're not able to demount them for free. So Wargaming, a massive thumbs up to you for this change. However, I will say that considering that customers are now going to be able to demount bounty equipment for free, this still is going to cause some issues inside the game. Sure, people will be saying, well, you could do it with a demounting equipment, or you could do it for 10 gold. But here's the thing. Now, what people will be able to do is they'll be able to demount all of their bounty equipment and put it on every single one of their tanks. And this is still going to give them a significant advantage. And really, for people who pay $9 a month, they're still going to get that improved advantage compared to everyone else. It's only going to be like a bounty amount rather than a bond amount. So while this is a big improvement, i.e. Wargaming, shall we say, halving the advantage that WoT Plus provides, there are still going to be significant issues coming from this. And that is the new standard for people who pay $9 a month will be having bounty equipment on all of their tanks. They're going to get a modification that allows them to demount it and remount it on vehicles with a single click, albeit with a little bit of lag inside their garage. And realistically, what WoT Plus customers will do then is they'll sell all of their regular equipment, have tens, if not hundreds of millions of credits from that, and they'll be able to use those to inflate the future auctions. And then they'll be tied to always having WoT Plus, unless they want to grind those hundreds of millions of credits back to be able to put equipment on all of their tanks. So Wargaming, while I'm like 50 or 75% happy that you've removed the bond equipment advantage that WoT Plus was going to give, I really think that you should consider removing bounty equipment from this change as well. Although I understand from a system if that might be tricky, considering that demounting regular equipment and bounty equipment kind of has the same value. Next, let's talk about changes to crew perks. So the crew system has been an essential part of World of Tanks since the early days. It allows for fine-tuning of a vehicle, boosting its best features, and mitigating shortcomings. These benefits will stay with players as they advance through a tech tree, taking the crew with them. New perks and adjusting existing ones were meant to add more flexibility and diversity to the crew perk selection and make it more useful. However, this was negatively perceived as the increase in the disparity among the player base between competitive players, veterans and experienced crews, and new players. We do not intend to raise the number of perks needed to ensure players can remain competitive during a battle in terms of vehicle performance. As a result, we have made the decision to not introduce the new perks in their current state or proceed with the rebalancing of existing ones tested on the common tests. Well, Wargaming, thank you so much for seeing this change. Thank you so much for seeing that if you were to put certain crew skills in, that an E25 would have not been able to be spotted when firing until 250 meters. And thank you so much for seeing that having snapshot with a directive for 40% reduced turret traverse dispersion would have been horrific inside the game. This is wonderful news. The game was just about to get faster. It was just about to get more pay to win. It was going to be an absolute hot, disgusting mess. And thank you very much for recognizing the community's feedback on the matter and keeping, shall we say, the end game competitive level at roughly about 5 or 6 perks currently, and not putting it up to a silly 9 perks, and the issue of having like 12 or 20 different skills on certain crew members in the game. I think this shows real care by Wargaming to ensure the possibility that the future World of Tanks players will be able to actually play their game. And importantly, it gives Wargaming more time to be able to go back and develop those crew skills, because some of them could have actually been pretty alright inside the game, while also accounting for a lot of the issues that the community brought up. Now, just to clarify, this is the only part of Crew 2.0 that Wargaming are effectively not introducing. We are still all receiving the quality of life improvements to the crew system, so the revamped crew system introduces several quality of life updates that were well received by the community due to their usefulness. Additionally, these new updates provide us with a solid foundation for future enhancements to crew perks and progressions. Thus, update 1.20.1 will implement the following changes: unifying perks and skills into perks that work from the start, i.e. Brothers in Arms is going to work from 1% and you won't have to have 100% on all of your crew members. This also poses the question of, will you need to actually have Brothers in Arms on every single one of your crew members for it to work? Or maybe you could have 4 crew members trained at 100% and then just 1 crew member trained at 1%. And in theory, it would still work, albeit with kind of like 81% effectiveness. In addition, Wargaming are removing the experience penalty for injured crew members, which means at the end of the battle, you might not want to heal that crew member so they get extra experience. They're adding in a battle interface for situational perks. I guess those are ones that pop up in the middle of your screen, which you can or can't cancel, providing clear descriptions of perks and their effect, and displaying the effects of all perks in the vehicle characteristics widget. Now, because this means that Wargaming aren't effectively changing the way that any of the perks works, that there will not be a 30-day promotion for resetting crew perks, or we're going to be receiving 12 retraining orders. But Wargaming, I trust that when the changes to the system do come into effect, that the 30-day promotion will be the new standard. And frankly, Wargaming, I think that 30-day window should be longer for all of the reasons that have been previously brought up as to how long it will actually physically take us, the lucky individuals of us out there who have kind of like 200, 300, 400 different crews inside World of Tanks, to prevent the game from feeling as if I'm logging in and doing my clicking homework before I actually get to play. So extend that window, take the pressure off the players if you do incorporate these crew changes. Allow them to actually have fun and experiment and switch their crews for a little while, and to celebrate the awesome crew work that you're adding into the game, rather than making them feel as if they've got to jump in and get it all done now or face 200 gold consequences later on. Wargaming finished by saying, "We want to extend our appreciation for your continuous support and valuable feedback, which has empowered us to take an exciting next step in World of Tanks Update 1.20.1. With the host of new features and enhancements, we believe that the game will be more enjoyable for all players. Stay tuned for the portal for further developments of the update's contents and the upcoming roadmap and announcement outlining the planned content for later in 2023. Thank you for being an integral part of the World of Tanks community, and we hope to see you soon on the battlefield. Roll out." And Wargaming, may I give my appreciation to you for, should we say, 85% listening in this matter. And the only issue that I really now have with update 1.20.1 is that Wargaming are allowing WoT Plus customers to demount bounty equipment inside the game, which, while it's not quite as pay to win as Bond equipment demounting, and Wargaming aren't going to create the Bond inflation issue for all of their WoT Plus customers, there is going to be a significant issue still with credit inflation, and importantly, that all of the WoT Plus customers are now going to have bounty equipment as standard on all of their tanks. And so Wargaming, I would ask you to reconsider this change, and please, 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 only allow free demounting for regular equipment, and don't allow free demounting for bounty equipment. Make it so that people still have to use the demounting kits, and make it so that people still have to pay gold to disincentivize them possibly using bounty equipment on all of their low tier tanks when they're out there seal clubbing. And once again, Wargaming, while you want to extend your appreciation to us for our continuous support and valuable feedback, I want to extend appreciation from myself, and I do expect the community as well, at least the majority of the community, that you've been willing to accept that this patch didn't really meet some of your criteria and your high standards, and that you're willing to go back and work on it while still getting the great things about the patch into the game. And it really shows in this case that Wargaming did in fact listen, and at least in my opinion, for the better of the game. And I'd also like to extend a big thank you to all of you, the community, for the thousands of comments and for people filling out all of Wargaming's feedback forms. If it wasn't for literally the thousands of you out there for all of your comments and all of your feedback that you gave Wargaming, then frankly the community wouldn't be heard, and I believe we would be having a worse version of the 1.20.1 update coming soon. And so I guess this is a case of firm handshakes all round. Wargaming win because they get WoT Plus inside the game, and people are going to start paying $9 a month on a subscription basis, and all of the community win as well because the game that we truly love over the last decade gets to live to see another day. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, it feels so good right now to be sharing this news. Honestly, like the last few weeks, I almost thought it was kind of the end times of World of Tanks, where the pay to win is just going to be ramped up to an impossible degree for people to keep playing this game. And when you're someone like me who's been dedicated to making videos and streaming this game for 11 years, I have to admit it has been a stressful time. And then I'm happy that at least for now that I'm kind of have to be cancelling my conclusion to the previous video, where I really didn't feel that I was going to be able to recommend this game to new players going forwards. And while it might still be an RNG salt simulator, it's looking like the World of Tanks juggernaut, at least after a couple of wobbles, is going to continue plowing on. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, that was it for today. Really happy to share good news. Really happy you are too, community. Congratulations to you. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you hated this video, give it a thumbs down. And let me know what you think about the cancelled changes in update 1.20.1. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.